All right, so we're going to be taking another look at the Cyberpunk TCG because we are over $10 million in pledges over on Kickstarter. And I wanted to go over that beta box and those stretch goals that I very clearly in the last video said I didn't know really what that was going to entail. And this has definitely changed a few things. My perspective when it comes to that tier 3, which I think is like 350 bucks if I remember correctly. I haven't looked since. It definitely makes the like tier 3 a lot more lucrative, and it has a lot more incentive behind it now that we've seen what some of these stretch goals have been. Now, some of them I kind of think are just filler goals, and then some of them are actually really great goals that were hit, that were smashed, because in the first 6 hours of the day, they were over $6 million in pledges, which is absolutely insane. Congrats to them. There's a lot of people that think that I'm just trying to hate on the Cyberpunk TCG that really didn't understand the fact that I love Cyberpunk and I think this is going to be an awesome game and it's going to be collectible. But I'm still going to stick to what I said. I'm probably going to be buying singles for this product for my personal collection because I still think the price is too high. Now, you guys did tell me something super interesting that we'll hop right into these goals and everything. Take a look at them. You guys did tell me that there are going to be retail boxes at 120 a box. That's great. That's really all you had to tell me. I wasn't aware that the Kickstarter boxes are actually, yeah, we could kind of call them a collector box. I don't know if we really want to call them that, like from Magic the Gathering, calling it a collector box, but knowing that there are going to be 24-pack retail boxes, and that these are beta boxes with more packs, more rares in them. There's a lot more incentive now for me to look at this a little bit differently. So everybody run in the comments to try and fucking cancel me. It's like, brother, I was very clear. I did not have all the details yet. So that's why we're making a re-review. And we're going to take a look at some of these incentives. I think some of these are really great. And I probably will be dropping some cash in the Kickstarter here very soon. I have to still figure out what is going to make the most sense for me when it comes to holding some, when it comes to stocking some in our eBay, and then when it comes to actually me getting to open a couple boxes just for myself, or if I want to wait for the personal and just maybe pick up a retail box or something, because you have to understand when products like this come out, the margin is pretty slim usually. When it comes to Pokemon, our margin is anywhere from making a quarter or $1 a pack. So even if I could make $1 a pack on this stuff, I would have to make $180 profit. I have to sell 180 packs just to be able to open one, for free, essentially. So hopefully that makes sense from the business perspective. Let's take a look. So the first stretch goal is just unlocking the beta box itself, which they smashed this in like 5 minutes. And it shows the legend pack here that would come in this beta box, which I am assuming that V is going to be the most common. And we'll continue to take a look at that. So here's the next one. I did like seeing this when it was, 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, that every single card is actually going to be labeled as beta. So this, in itself, already helps the product, already helps the card value. Just that there is beta cards in general that are specifically marked. It's great. It's perfect, actually. So continuing on, this is kind of one of those that I felt like was kind of a filler goal, that they're just going to throw some security film on the boxes. This is something that already should exist. We're not pulling a Lorcana on this product. Nobody is doing that. I think every TCG that would come out from now until the end of time can look at what happened to the first chapter in Lorcana and be like, yeah, we're not going to just make it cardboard or put a tiny little seal strip. No, let's wrap the thing in cellophane. So that, kind of feels like a filler goal. Here we go. So pack upgrade, Atom Smasher. So I would have to read the caption behind this, which I think we can do right here. So this is going to be added to the card pool. So you're not, from what I understand, you are not going to be guaranteed Atom Smasher, for example. It is just one of the cards you can pull. So I'm going to assume this legend pack has one card in it. That is my assumption. And once again, I don't know because the product's not out. Does that make sense to everybody? I mean, the amount of intelligence that was lacking in the comment section of the last video was kind of shocking. I was a little surprised, honestly. But I deal with it every day on eBay, so why would it be any different here? Next goal. Entire dice set. Love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. The dice were quite expensive. And, these aren't going to be the highest of quality ones. This is just a little starter dice set. But I still love to see that, man. Genuinely, it's just nice to see. It's a good incentive, is what I'm trying to say. Next, we have Alt Cunningham here. Once again, this is a better art for sure than the one that was spoiled on their Instagram. They probably posted it on Twitter, too. I like this card art a whole lot better than the other one. It's still, like, it's all right. I think they're going to make some really sick Alt Cunningham cards in the future. That's what I'll say. So, once again, getting added into the card pool. Next, we're getting a playmat. This is great, man. I love to see this. This is a very basic playmat for you to get started, for you to be able to play the game. I really didn't like some of the pricing on some of their playmats and shit. And listen, man, for everybody in the comment section of the last one saying, like, bro, these are Dragon Shield sleeves and all that. I don't care, man. I genuinely don't care. Like, a high majority of people, at least in my area, when we're at the Pokemon pre-releases, if we're playing Magic, the amount of people actually using Dragon Shields these days are slim. I'm gonna be honest. Nobody here takes it ultra competitive. Nobody around me is going all out and blinging out decks anymore. There's the rare few. There's a few that do. And obviously those guys who are showing up with these alt art decks, blinged out the ass, of course they're going to have premium sleeves on their cards. Obviously. But the high majority of people, man, they're not. Like, I'm just going to call it how I see it personally. It's just not happening as much as people think. I'm happy that they're, giving out premium items and they're not cheaping out, but at the same time I still think some of the pricing is a little absurd. Takamura here, added to the pool. Love to see that. So this is that's not what I wanted. This is one that was really interesting to me, and I got a comment on the video, was it 2 days ago? I think yesterday, I don't know. No, it was actually probably 3 days ago. Somebody was like, yeah, I think because there's going to be 72 rares in a booster box, that this is going to make it worth it now. Like, $170 for 72 rares. And my comment back to them was, just because you call something rare doesn't mean it's rare. We see this with a bajillion card games. Why do you think there's so many rarities above rare? Why do you think there's super rares? Why do you think there's ultra rares? Why do you think there is alternate art rares? Or, whatever you want to call the fucking rare slot. I mean, look at the Naruto Kaiju stuff that came out. How many fucking rares are above rare? 12? 15? Until you get to, like, SP? Like, you guys have to understand. I do see the wording here. Second hit slot for booster packs. I like that. If we can actually get blinged out, whether it's textured cards or potentially serial number, I don't know. Doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to tell you is a second hit slot, whether it's a second holo, second rare, doesn't mean anything. Pokemon has 3 hit slots, ladies and gentlemen. Some products have every card can be the hit slot because it could be a god pack. Okay? Another hit slot doesn't mean anything, and it doesn't actually add as much value as you would actually think. So we need to be realistic here. Next, Dum Dum added to the pool. Then we have the Female V Metal card being added to the beta box. This is one I'm super hype about. It's just any free card that is a promo that's going to be Kickstarter exclusive adds exponential value. I mean, this, let's say they release this as do a little promo for a Female V in the future. Let's say it's a year down the road, 2 years down the road, however far we want to go out. And let's say they have some kind of new release where it includes, a Female V Metal card. The one from the Kickstarter is going to be worth 10 times, 15 times. It's going to be worth so much more than any potential promo in the future. Seeing actual promos like this is very incentivizing to actually go tier 3+, because this is exclusive stuff that you cannot get anywhere else. So hopefully that makes sense. Like all this stuff that we're showing you, you can unlock this via tier 3. It is all free editions. So continuing on, Evelyn here. Love the card art on that. Looks absolutely amazing. And then we have additional box toppers for your boosters. So, the guys that invested early, I won't lie to you. I almost feel like I definitely should have went with one of those, tier 7s because I had no idea how much additional value was going to come out. So, like, for example, I think it was 54 boxes? I think it was 54, which would be 9 cases. It's one of those things where that tier 7 now gets 54 more box toppers, unless they're selling boxes sealed, of course, or holding them. But you do have another 54 promos now at your disposal. So just you have exponential additions when you are in those higher tiers. So Jackie Wells, love the art on that too. I think they could bling this out just a little more, but still great art. Love it. Then you have more variants for add-on playmats. So just a few other additions for you. Presumably at the 39 or the 49 price tag. And then we have Hanako Arasaka here. Like the art on that too. Some of these arts are really nice, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Some of the arts are very nice. I am liking what I'm seeing, to be honest with you. So we have additional box toppers now. When I saw these, I was like, whoa, those are nice. Like, those are blinged out. That's, full-on borderless extended art. Those are really, really nice. You got Victor, you got V, you got Jackie. Really nice. All right. So, like I said, man, all the people shit-talking me in the comments in the last one, like, bro, just take a step back. None of this information was available yet. Like, if you don't understand that, I don't know what to tell you. Johnny Silverhand. I'm really hoping, I don't know. Let me double check here. Because I did just see that. Okay, so I would love to see, let's just say hypothetically, they keep going. And I think there's like 29 days left on the Kickstarter. They very well could breach, like, I'm talking 15, 20, 25. I would love to see a blinged out Johnny Silverhand. I'm talking blinged out, baby. I would love to see that. So this one was cool, man. And this is kind of what I was talking about. I don't think these are dragon sleeves here. It's one of those things where this is kind of what I would have liked to see available for most. As additional add-ons, not the high-end premium stuff. Like, you have to understand, when I was making that video, I went into it with the perspective of not only a business owner, full-time trading card seller here, but as somebody who wasn't fully invested in this, making this my life. Like, if I was just a casual wanting to try it out, this would be sick. Grab a small thing of sleeves here, $8 to $10, grab a box, grab a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I almost feel like they should have had a secondary tier in there where it could have been like a box of sleeves, a retail box in one deck. Something like that, man. I really do. But I get the way they went, and what they did was obviously they executed well. I texted my girl the other day, and I was telling her about this Cyberpunk stuff, and I'm like, apparently I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, because I thought for sure that the overall consensus would be, it's a little expensive. But the overall consensus is like 70% of the people, they're like, hey, this is cool. The other 30% are like, it is a little too expensive for me. And that 30% is going to flock to those retail boxes, going to flock to some of the lower end stuff. Once everything does release, a few more releases down the road, obviously stuff, expansions as they continue on, depending on if they are going to stick to the print to demand like they were talking about. The game, there's definitely going to be accessibility in the future. It's just right now, I do think there is a ton of FOMO, and I think that the stretch goals themselves are actually very good, and it's actually it's continuing to drive the FOMO, because now it's like Okay, you definitely want to grab something because these beta boxes are going to be so juiced up now. So it makes sense. They're doing a great job, man. So we have the Nova Rare Rebecca card for all tiers. Obviously, I think that's slightly, unless I'm wrong on this, I think that's slightly bad wordage there. It's bad verbiage. It should say tier 3 plus, unless I'm mistaken. Um, no, it actually it looks like here that yeah, common cyber decks are getting it. Wow. Okay, that's awesome, man. That's really good. And you should be getting everybody should still be getting the Lucy card as well, right? I believe. So now even if you're in at the was it $49 for the two decks, now you're gonna be having two cards coming your way, two exclusive promos that you can sell for a little bit of money back. Hey, that's decent, man. I like to see that. So yeah, I mean that's great news. So let's check what the Kickstarter's at. I'm gonna assume it's probably like 10.5, maybe 11. All right, so we are at 10.3, which is very good. Once again, I just want to come back down here to the tier 3 right here. So 350. I'm assuming there's tax on there. You're getting your two displays, and you're getting the two decks, and then you're getting the beta box. I mean, everything that we just talked about, that information was not available 2 days ago. I mean, the amount of additional value now is significant. It's good. It's very good, actually. And you can see the astronomical difference in the backers. You got 2,000 people just grabbing the decks. They just want to try it out. They want to play the game. And then moving down, you got people taking down one box. This is, I'm just going to call it how it is. This is just for the people who can't really afford much else. They just want a box. They want to open it. And that's that. They're not really all in on it. Tier 3 is obviously right now where you're getting the most value. 5,000 backers. I mean, it just makes sense. It is the lowest risk, highest reward tier currently, in my opinion. I think tier 7 definitely was lower risk than some of the other ones, just due to the serialized card. But, it's one of those things where we keep moving down. You see, grab yourself an extra box here on tier 4. The dice looks sick, I can't lie. But you're really only grabbing, an extra box there. And then you move down an entire case and pretty much everything else with the promo and then the Afterlife package, which at this point, this is kind of where I'm leaning. And it's really just for the box. It is to the point where, oh shit. They put, is this new? You can get a serialized Pan Am card right now? Hold up, chat. Listen, I won't lie to you. Right now, I don't think it is financially intelligent for me to purchase this at the moment. Right now, I'm actually deploying a fair amount of capital into the stock market because we're seeing a nice little dip. And I would say holding up 8 grand right now until the end of the year really isn't the smartest financial decision for me at the moment. But I'm gonna put this out there right now. I'm a buyer for one of these serialized Pan Am cards. Um, so if by chance any of you are gonna take down the 8K on the Pan Am Legend, please let me know. I am a potential buyer for you. So, that's really interesting. I had no idea they were going to slow burn release those. I had no clue. Not gonna lie, there was a part of me just now that almost clicked the button. Let's just put it at that. Um, we had Judy already gone, David Martinez, Lucy, Rebecca, Smasher, Pan Am's available right now. Um, there is a part of me that could, there is a part of me that wants to, there is a part of me that would, but the entire thing that I've been preaching about this entire thing is the price of it. It is not a proven product, okay? Yeah, we're up to 10.3 million on Kickstarter. For me to say, well, MetaZoo got over a million on Kickstarter, that's eh, you know, it's not really comparable at this point. Um, but it's kind of the same principle. Um, it's not out yet. It's not proven. You are giving out in this example, an $8,000 loan. You know, it's just I just do not think we're there yet. So just to be clear, at this point, I'm definitely going tier 3. I just don't think there's enough for me, even at like, it's either I'm gonna go tier 3 or I'm gonna go tier 6. It's there's really not any other option for me. It's like I'm either gonna want a few sealed cases of beta, or I'm just gonna grab a couple of boxes and that's gonna be that. I'm honestly leaning towards the Afterlife package, genuinely, just because that'll allow me to, even if I wanted to do six and another set of 6, I can keep one case sealed. I can sell one, buy the pack, and I can have like 3 more boxes come out of the next case. Have those boxes for sale at my physical location, and then open 3 for myself, something like that, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. At this point, things are getting better. More incentives are rolling in, and if I had to recommend you one at this point, I think genuinely the tier 3 is definitely, it's definitely there when it comes to having actual value at this point. So wanted to just talk about that. And metal poster for 150 bones. See, like, some stuff just rubs me the wrong way, and I don't want to get into it. So this is where we're going to end it. Let me know what you're still thinking about the Cyberpunk TCG, and which tier did you go with? Or do you still think, even with the beta box and the stretch rewards, still too expensive? What do you think? Let me know down below. I'll see you in the next one.